Imagine standing at dawn on the Giza Plateau. The wind is sharp, the sand bites your skin, and looming above you is the Great Pyramid, 2.3 million stones stacked against the sky. No cranes, no engines, just human hands, determination, and the will to survive as a civilization. How did they move blocks as heavy as whales, or drag stones across miles of brutal wilderness? The answer isn't lost magic, it's human ingenuity born from necessity. Let's break down how ancient civilizations moved mountains. Modern researchers have uncovered just how clever ancient engineers really were. In Egypt, when colossal statues needed moving, workers poured water onto the sand in front of wooden sledges. That simple trick cut friction in half. A 60-ton statue that needed 450 men on dry sand could be moved by 220 men on wet. Teams moved as one, every splash of water making the impossible just a bit more possible. Leverage was their secret weapon. Huge wooden beams, balanced on stones, let workers lift monstrous blocks just an inch at a time, place a small rock underneath, repeat, and eventually even the largest stones could be moved. On Easter Island, people walked 720-ton Moai statues by rocking them side to side with ropes, spreading the strain, never lifting outright. Each solution born of sharp observation and unbreakable will. But before anything moved, stones had to be freed from the earth. Without explosives, ancient miners turned to fire and water. They'd set roaring fires against the rock face, then douse the superheated stone with cold water. The violent contraction cracked the hardest granite. Wooden wedges driven into these cracks, then soaked, would expand until the stone split apart. It was slow, dangerous, and relentless. For softer stones like limestone, copper and bronze chisels did the job. But for granite, workers used dolerite, a stone harder than the granite itself. Hour after hour, they pounded away. Sometimes they'd saw through stone with copper blades, using abrasive desert sand as the cutting edge. Logistics was where ancient Egypt truly shined. The Nile was their highway. During the annual flood, massive stone blocks floated on barges from quarries hundreds of kilometers away. Once ashore, ramps of earth and brick spiraled around growing pyramids, letting workers drag stones skyward. These ramps were as monumental as the pyramids themselves, built, used, and dismantled as the project advanced. Every task was part of a vast, living machine. But the greatest force at work wasn't stone or tool. It was people. Recent evidence shows the Great Pyramid wasn't built by slaves, but by skilled workers, organized and cared for, rotating in and out with the seasons. They were fed, housed, even treated for injuries. They worked with military precision, teams, foremen, supply chains, orders flowing from the top down. And what kept them going? Belief, religious duty, dynastic pride, or simply the promise of survival? Here's the timeless lesson. The ancients moved mountains not because they had the best tools, but because they refused to surrender to the impossible. They observed, adapted, and organized with discipline and focus. When the world threatened to break them, they found a way. That's not just history, that's a blueprint for resilience. From Egyptian quarrymen to Easter Island sculptors, ancient laborers to modern survivalists, the same spirit endures. In a world that loves to tell us what can't be done, ancient engineering reminds us, with determination and community, even mountains can be moved. If you're fascinated by the grit and genius of ancient civilizations, join me on Warpath and Wilderness. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories where history and survival collide. Thanks for walking this path with me.